What is up, guys? Zach here. I'm in the shop today. We got a new microphone system so that I can actually show you the shop and you can hear what I'm saying. In this video, I'm gonna actually talk to you about the 3 tools that really change the speed in which we operate inside of the shop. So I'm gonna kind of bounce around here a little bit, but stick with me because I'm gonna show you, in my personal opinion, the tools that if you want to get efficient, if you want to get fast inside of your shop, these are the tools that are vitally important for your success. And so there's a few things that we changed along the way that changed the game for us. And I'm gonna show you what those things are today, so stick around. All right, so the first tool that I'm gonna show you is actually more of a system that we have that we've created that allows us to move really quickly. And so a lot of you guys out there are getting your lumber raw from your supplier. You're just getting raw boards. You're having to do all the milling. You're having to do all the planing, all the joining, and we have all those things. However, it is so slow to do that. You're adding 3, 4, 5 hours of work to all of your projects when you do that. Maybe not that much, maybe just a couple hours. But one thing you can notice right out of the gate is when you look at our lumber rack, everything is milled. You know, everything is milled. We get everything at least S3S, which means it's planed on the top, planed on the bottom, planed on the side, unless we are running our circle sawn oak boards. So down here you can see some of our circle sawn oak. We get that to where it's just planed on one side and it's straight edge. So that system with, essentially you can go straight from pulling this off the rack, right over here to the miter saw, cutting it to length, and then from there you can take it straight to the table saw because you already have a straight edge and you can push it through the table saw and go from there. So that allows us essentially to move really quickly to glue ups. And so a lot of you guys, you know, when you're gluing up tables, you're gluing up furniture, you're putting tabletops together, it's taking, you know, 3, 4, 5 hours. I mean, we can glue up a tabletop, my team can glue up a tabletop in about an hour. And so the reason being is because we get our lumber pre-milled, we have a system to where it's all right here, almost within arm's reach, where we're pulling lumber off the rack, taking it to the miter saw, cutting it to length, pushing it through the table saw, and then at that point, it is ready to glue up. So make sure, if you can, talk to your lumber supplier, see if you can get your lumber milled. A lot of those guys will charge an extra 10 cents a board foot, 20 cents a board foot, but in my personal opinion, if you're busy, it's worth it. It's worth it to not have to, number one, wear down your tools, wear down your joiner and your planer, you know, replace blades constantly, but second, it's just way faster from a production standpoint, is what we have found. And so that's number one. Let's move on to tool number 2. All right, so this is our second tool that has really increased the speed of our shop the most. When we first started, we were using random orbital sanders, just like most of you guys. Those are great. They're a great place to start, but it takes forever to remove material and flatten tabletops and do those sorts of things. And so we made the upgrade to one of these Bosch 6-inch gear-driven sanders. I'll post a link in the description below. This, coupled with the dust collection, is fantastic. This thing throws off a ton of dust if you don't have a dust collection. Obviously, these are super dusty and dirty, but they're not as a result of themselves. They're a result of everything else, you know, all the grinding work and things we have to do inside the shop. So this Bosch sander is kind of like the Festool Rotex 150, but the Rotex 150 is like $600. This one's like $300, and it's basically the exact same tool. You can get them with a warranty on them, and then when you couple it with the Bosch dust collection system, I can't remember exactly how much this dust collector is. It's not cheap. This is an investment for sure in your business. If you buy this and the dust collector, it hooks directly up to the dust collection. When you turn the tool on, the dust collector comes on. When you turn the tool off, the dust collector kicks off. It just works really, really, really well together. So as a result of this, and by the way, if you hear any beating and banging around, it's because we're still working inside the shop. We went from it taking probably 3 hours, 3.5 hours to sand a tabletop, let's say like an average standard size tabletop. We went from around 3.5 hours on that down to about an hour and a half with making the transition from just random orbital sanders to this. And so when you look at that, when we're building a tabletop every day, that is a lot of time saved, a lot of money saved as a result of spending a little bit of money up front and getting some tools that allow us to move faster. So that is our second tool that has really allowed us to shed a lot of time off of our production times. And so we got one more, let's go check it out. All right, so here's your third and final tip to speeding up the efficiency in your shop. And the third thing that we really started doing that changed the game for us, and right when we started, we were hand painting everything. We were applying polyurethane by hand. Guys, if you know, polyurethane just takes forever to dry. I'm sure there are versions of it that dry faster than others, but the Home Depot, Lowe's version that we were using would take 6 or 8 hours to dry. And then if a fly landed in it or a bug landed in it, you'd have an imperfect finish. So for us, one of the biggest things that we ever did was we moved to spraying our finishes. finishes. So spraying our lacquer and spraying our paint. And now lacquer, the beautiful thing about lacquer is that you can spray it and within about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, that is gonna be dry. Dry to the touch, dry to the point that you can go over it with a sanding pad and you can knock off any rough pieces of it and put another coat on it, which is gonna allow you to go from taking 2 full days to apply a couple coats of polyurethane to being completely done from start to finish within about 2 hours, 2.5 hours finishing a piece of furniture. When you think about overall production time, so we've talked about this, we've talked about ordering your wood raw, we've talked about how you're sanding, we've talked about how you are applying your finishes. And so when you think about all these things and the amount of time that you're cutting off of your projects, you're going from taking, let's say, a week and a half, building a dining table set to being able to consistently do it in about 2.5 to 3 days if you're just a one-man team, okay? So if you're just by yourself, if you have a team, you're able to do that even faster. In our shop, typically we get about a dining table set done every day. So we kind of operate by the pay period is kind of how we do it. So every 2 weeks we get paid and then we align our production with our pay schedule. And so we want to be able to complete essentially 10 dining table sets over 10 working days is typically what we're trying to do. Now, sometimes we have orders that are really simple where it's just a table. That's an even faster process. Sometimes we have orders that are $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 where someone has ordered multiple tables, multiple sets of chairs, they've ordered a bed or they've ordered something wild from us. The plan doesn't work flawlessly, but it works really well in regards to us keeping track of our finances and doing a good job of that. So just so you know, we kind of have this section of the shop taped up, tarped up, and we're trying to control the fumes from the lacquer. We actually are working right now on getting an actual legit industrial spray booth in the shop. But another thing that I tell people, and I think that is so important, is that you run lean. I think that too many people spend way too much money way too quickly on improving the shop as opposed to improving the marketing and the sales. Your business has to grow from a sales standpoint first. If you have all the nicest tools in the world, but you don't have any sales, you're just gonna be sitting there admiring them, not getting to use them, right? So you gotta get sales up first. You gotta get things rolling inside of your business, and then you use the cash flow from that to then finance and go do the things that you wanna do to improve the shop. All right, so hopefully that video just helped you kind of make some decisions on how to move faster inside of your shop. We have clients inside of the program. I have a particular client inside of the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. His name is Tom Monroe. He's with West Mill Design Co. And last year in 2022, he built 250 dining table sets throughout the year. Think about how many that is per week. And he did about 90% of them by himself. And so he was getting 4 to 5 dining table sets done a week by himself. That's crazy, right? And so the way that he did it was continually figuring out and maximizing ways to improve speed and efficiency inside of your shop, okay? Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, let me know in the comments below. I'm sure I'll get some haters for my dirty shop. One thing I realized though, if it's perfect, it means that you had a little bit too much time on your hands. And so I would rather be busy, be a little bit dirty. But with that being said, guys, make sure that you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.